I am so moved to welcome our final speaker, who is not only my student, but one of my dearest friends in the world. And what a deep joy to watch her on this journey, both in the lived experience of it, as I have gotten to be, you know, in the chat thread for years, watching this story, and then to this moment where she's making art out of the hard earned wisdom that she has cultivated, that is such a gift for everyone who is seeking to really harness the fullness of their wisdom and the healing power within. So I welcome Whitney Mack to the stage, sharing her talk, The Gap Between Knowing and Embodying. Everybody, let's give Whitney a huge round of applause. Whitney!
Whitney!
Go, Sissy.
Everything I thought I knew about health changed in February 2024, when after 15 years of never getting sick, I got the sickest I've ever been in my entire life for 4 months. I could hardly stand for 15 minutes without needing to sit down. The fatigue was bone crushing. Walking up the 8 stairs in my house left me coughing and wheezing. I had to carry a cup everywhere with me because even the smallest exertion or talking triggered violent coughing fits that produced quarter-sized clumps of phlegm. I couldn't laugh, and taking a deep breath was out of the question. I grew up with a dad who's a Western medicine doctor and a mom who's a registered nurse. Every symptom was a problem to be solved, and the answer existed in a pill. But for the last 15 years, my life looked very different. I donned a more holistic approach to health and hadn't taken any of those medications in 15 years, not even a Tylenol. That shift began in 2008 when my love for fitness grew into teaching it and then into nutrition and lifestyle coaching. And in 2015, at age 30, I learned how my female hormones work and the way that my body was magnificently designed. I felt like somebody had given me a secret map and I had to share it with the world. For the next decade, I immersed myself into that work and I learned to listen to my body. And the more I listened, the more I trusted. And the more I trusted, the more my health expanded. And I had excellent health. I barely got sick, and I took it for granted. And I came to believe that health was not something you swallowed. It was something you cultivated. And it worked. Until it didn't. After all my holistic go-tos didn't work, I turned back to Western medicine. But that didn't work to heal my sickness either. I tried everything. Every test came back negative. 3 different antibiotics did nothing. After a night of particularly brutal coughing when trying to read to my son, Will, he turned to me with fear and tears in his eyes. And he asked me, Mom, are you dying? Was I? What was wrong with me? I felt like such a fraud. How could I teach women about health when I had lost mine so drastically? Soon after that, I got some blood work done. Everything came back normal, except for one thing. C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory marker in the body. Ideally, it's under 1. A 3 is considered highly inflammatory. The practitioner who took my blood work told me that patients she sees between an 8 and a 10 can barely get off the couch or even function. Mine was a 63. And here's the thing about C-reactive protein. It's tied to cardiac risk, stroke, heart events. And while I wasn't having a medical emergency, I was having a crisis of the heart. After this news, I remember sending my best friend Casey a hopeless and desperate message, to which she responded, "Have you ever considered looking into what the lungs energetically represent in traditional Chinese medicine? Because that is where all of the congestion and the gunk from my illness was living." So I asked her, what do the lungs energetically represent in traditional Chinese medicine? And she responded, bone deep grief. And what I haven't yet shared is at the time that this illness began, I was living inside a marriage that was deeply unfulfilling and had been for a very long time. It was draining my energy, breaking my heart, and crushing my spirit. It felt like running with a parachute tied to my back, expending enormous energy, but going nowhere. Intuitively, I knew that facing my grief was required to heal. Looking from this perspective was like waking from a dream. I began to see how much energy I was pouring into fixing my marriage, believing that if I just said it better, understood more, tried harder, that I could make it whole. I let every fight, every disconnection dictate how I was showing up in the world. I saw how instinctively I gave up my sovereignty to be palatable enough to receive love, and how I was compromising the deepest desires and truths of my heart instead of seeing what my marriage actually was and what it was costing me. When I saw that level of self-abandonment, I was enraged. But seeing the grief and facing it are entirely different things. How do you even begin to unravel something so deep? I turned to something that I knew helped me move through emotions: dancing. In particular, a practice called swamping by the genius Mama Gina. And it's where you dance to songs to intentionally move through three different emotions: rage, and then grief, and then joy. And as I stomped and I punched and I screamed through my rage, my body gave way. Wheezing and hacking, I collapsed to the floor. Heaving sobs racked my body as 20 years of feeling alone and unchosen swept through me. It felt unbearable, like being clawed from the inside. But for the first time, instead of stifling it, I stayed with myself as the storm waged in my soul. And wave after wave of grief hit me. When the oceans of tears finally stilled, I began dancing to the joy song. And underneath the pain, I felt it. The ember of my heart still glowing. My fire, my spirit still burning. And I vowed to bring her back. I continued to use this practice in this healing journey, but I also wove in transformative breath work and somatic expression therapy to help move the grief instead of letting it just calcify inside my body. And these sessions often felt like exorcisms, extracting all the toxic ties from my marriage that felt like black tar everywhere in my body, especially in my womb. And with each excavation, I created safety inside myself and found the parts that I had abandoned. It was a reclamation, a homecoming. Within weeks, after 4 months of worsening symptoms, no answers, and nothing working, my coughing eased. Within a month, my symptoms were almost completely gone. I no longer had to carry a cup everywhere with me. And by August, 6 months after the illness had started, I was hiking almost every day with my kids. The pictures from that time show a renewed sparkle of joy in my eyes. My health had returned, and so had I. Before the sickness, I knew how to cultivate physical health. But I was missing a crucial piece that actually dropped in almost a year prior when I was channeling some deep wisdom for the next iteration of my business. It dropped in through one word: Bodby. Bodby? What the hell is Bodby? The divine answered that Bodby is the integration of the science of the female physiology, how our bodies work, and how we nourish them. Bod, with the equal devotion to tending our spiritual and energetic beings. B. Bod, B. Body, being. Before my illness, I had mastered my body, but my being was singing a completely different tune, and I wasn't listening. And I came to understand that this was not just my misalignment, it's a collective one. We have been programmed to prioritize the physical because it feels productive, tangible. But when we ignore the ache underneath it, the body speaks louder. And after ignoring my grief, stuffing it down for so long that my body had to completely shut down, and then walking the path of reclaiming my sovereignty, I now know this. The body is the vessel through which the being speaks. I used to believe that literally any symptom could be solved through eating healthy, cleaner living, stress reduction, good detoxification pathways, movement, lots of nature. But the truth is, physical and emotional symptoms are often driven by a need for energetic and spiritual healing. And it might even be the root cause. Your symptoms are not malfunctions. They are messages. Sacred invitations calling you back into alignment with your deepest desires and truth and your wholeness. Your body will never betray you, but she will stop you. She will stop you from tolerating what is draining you. She will stop you from swallowing your truth. She will stop you from outsourcing your sovereignty. And she will speak louder and louder until you listen. Are you listening? When you do, when you tend to your body and your being, your symptoms are no longer punishment. They are the path to sovereignty. And you realize that the medicine was always inside you, not outside of you. So when a woman comes to me now, I don't just ask what her symptoms are or what her labs say. I ask, where are you abandoning yourself, my love? Where are you stifling your deepest desires? Where are you not speaking your truth? Where are you overfunctioning, people pleasing, or outsourcing your worth? Where are you buying into systems that are misaligned with your female physiology? That is Bodbi. That is whole being health. And that is my invitation to you today. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Got Whitney.
Fantastic. Beautiful.
Wow, that's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm so proud of you. You're such a superstar. Oh my God, it's just so beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to open for reflection and celebration. You can just unmute yourself.
Whitney, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, it was incredible, like from start to finish. I just kept scribbling notes because I was like, oh, this was awesome and that was awesome. I think the part that really all of it captivated me. But when you really disclosed your journey to healing and the dancing and like how you got into those tears and how you released all of that emotion and then the joy that came behind that, um, it just, I mean, everything that you were saying, I was just like, yes, 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 yes. And that right there, just to be invited into your own, like, that felt like the crux of your healing and your shift. And beautiful, beautiful job.
Oh, beautiful celebration. Who else? You can just start talking and we'll bring you on.
I loved this, Whitney. And the part that really was a major moment for me was when you said, give up your sovereignty in order to be palatable, to receive love. It was such a huge, huge, big gong moment. And I appreciated all the personal story, and I particularly appreciated that the divine came through and gave you that glorious Bodbi moment because it really resonates really strongly in me that that is such a powerful offering for this world and for us women. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm. Beautiful, Corinne. Who else? One more celebration and reflection.
Whitney, I'll say it's Karen. I don't have incredible specifics. It was a whole thing. It was like you relived it with us. It had been so much of your life, like 20 years plus, and it was like you were going through it with us for the first time. Like the way, in particularly, like when you were reading the story to your son, and then you questioned what he was questioning about, are you dying? Like that amount of emotion and presence is kind of unbelievable. It was really touching.
Thank you.
Corinne. Um, okay. Wow. Riveting. Just absolutely riveting. And you are so radiant. It's off the hook. And the storytelling is just like phenomenal. The wisdom is profound. Um, you've put your heart and your soul into this. And it is like, like, it is glorious to witness you. You know, it's glorious, especially in the unique position that I have of walking with you so much on that journey and then seeing you now. It's just so beautiful. It just breaks my heart open. It was such an example of the heroine's journey. You're such a heroine of the deepest kind. Yeah, it has me present, which is why I love what I do. Because this is just the best. And here you are emerging with this diamond of insight that is like bringing you just on the cutting edge of the work, supporting women in their health and full life health and vitality. What a design. And I just so applaud you for saying yes to that, just holding on to this, you know, knowing and trusting and being guided by this. I know it hasn't always been easy, you know, and I'm just so excited for you because you're such a star. You're amazing. You're so genius and brilliant. And you know, you're like what Karen said, you know, your emotion and the presence together. I mean, it's just so captivating. And I'm just it's so beautiful to watch you and experience you. And I really celebrate you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Ah,
Thank you for giving me this gift.
oh, what a joy. Wow. Ah, all right. Well, everyone, let's give Whitney another big round of applause. Whitney.
Woohoo!